And I think the speakers are ready for answering the question and to start our panel discussion. If you have any comments or question, please raise your hand. We'll give you the microphone. Please. Xin mời chị, please. Please stand up and introduce where you're from, which enterprise you're working for, your name, and introduce about your company before raising your questions.
Yeah, my name is Linh from JGC Vietnam. So thanks to Navigos to arrange this event for us to have an opportunity to meet with you guys. Yeah, and then I have a question to Miss Alison. Actually, regarding the women make difference. In our companies, we have many women who are leaders now. However, we have the problems how to balance between the work and life. Yeah, so do you have any tips for us for this? I have many other questions, but this is the most important for us now. We cannot balance.
So thank you very much. So yes, so first of all, enjoying life, okay, so it should be the most important thing. So I do not believe, or at least personally, I do not associate myself totally with work. Okay, so this is why, okay, it does take some discipline, okay, but it's very important to fit in the things you want to do, the things that you want to do in your life other than work, okay, and be disciplined in a way to see how to fit them in, and also be disciplined at work. That, you know, because sometimes when we're at work, actually our work is never ending. Okay, we can sleep in a factory. It's never ending. But it's really up to us to be disciplined on, okay, what needs to be fit in today, what can be done tomorrow, and therefore that will give you then space to do other things. And personally, for me, this is also very important because I see that my life outside work is actually my recharge to be able to perform the next day at work.
Thank you, Alison. And maybe men should raise their voices, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that. I mean, one of the biggest challenges, and I don't know if you were referring to this, but for females in the workplace, the work-life balance is around having a family. We've experienced that at home. My wife decided to take a couple of years out of work when we had our son. And for her, that was, whilst that's a break in your career, so you're not moving forward during that time, I think that having a family enables you to have more compassion. It gives you a different perspective on life, and I think that's very helpful in leadership roles. Another experience I've had within my team, I hired for one of my most senior team members, someone I'd worked with for a while, and I hired her into one of my most senior roles. And immediately after offering her the role, she said, "But I've got something to tell you. I'm pregnant with their second child." And I was like, "That's amazing. That's fantastic news." And she was like, "I wasn't expecting you to react like that. I haven't, you know, I'm going to be going off on maternity leave." But from my perspective, I knew that she was the right person for the role, regardless if she was going to be going off on maternity leave for a period of time. And actually, when she came back to work, she had some challenges around, without getting into too many details, but around breastfeeding, and then wasn't able to actually, the baby wouldn't take the bottle, wasn't able to actually come to work. So she needed to work from home. And I was able to give her, as her manager, it wasn't really, I didn't get agreement with HR. I was able to make the decision myself to allow her to work from home. And me giving her that flexibility created an enormous amount of loyalty for her to me as her manager, and trust and respect, that she ended up being one of my top performers last year. She came back with a month left of the year after her maternity leave, and was one of the top performers within my team. And we've really built a great trusted relationship based upon that. So I think it's giving the leaders within your business the flexibility to be able to trust their staff and be able to give them that work-life balance is really important.
Very great example. And Ms. Ma, you want to add something like the barrier you have to encounter? I think you have a lot to share with people. When move up the leadership role, you must have overcome a lot of difficulties and barriers.
Thank you, Tung. And thank you for the question. You know, actually, whenever we talk about women in leaderships, it's always the first question come out is about work-life balance. And I just want to share some thoughts from, I think that is my personal thoughts. Work-life balance, the word balance does not mean that it would have to be 50-50, or you must have a perfect work, perfect roles at work, and then you have perfect life in family. It's more about your personal definition of how you want to live your life. And it's all about the choices that you make for your life and work. Okay? So in a certain period of time, we may think that, okay, this would be more important for us to invest more efforts and time, maybe some project at work or some challenging roles that the companies expect us to handle. Yes, then we can put more effort in that. And life, again, we can never forget about life, right? But life can happen even when you are at work. From my, and also, you know, in order to achieve the so-called balance, I think that, especially for women, we need a lot of support. And you would need to create that support for yourself. Because in order to have that balance, one very important factor is your partner. In Scott's case, I think that his wife is very lucky to have him as her partner, right? Yeah, and you know, it's in order for us to really enjoy our life and enjoy and to be successful in our work, the first thing first, choose your right person, choose the right husband, right? And make him to be the partner to support you. Because, you know, we cannot deny that one very important role of the women is to be the person who look after the family, right? That one, of course, men can support us, but the leading role in the family, like Tung already mentioned, right? At home, his wife is the CEO. But then, because we have our very important role in family, so if we really want to balance that with what we want for our career, then find the support from your family to share the workload in the family, to join you in raising your kids, okay, to join you in looking after your parents. And then at work also, I think that it's important for us to find the men, that's the support from our men colleagues as well, the support from the boss. Okay, and if you really want to balance your work and life, then you need to tell those supporters, you know, at home or at work, what you need them to do for you, how they can help you. And I strongly believe that, okay, your husband, your boyfriends, your partners always will want you to be happy. Okay, tell him how he can help you to be happy. Okay, because men are not good at predicting or guessing women's thoughts. Come on, they would not know. We have to tell them, okay? And also at work, let your boss, let your subordinates know how they can help you to do better in your job. And I believe that any bosses, okay, we have the bosses here, right? And myself as well, I always want my teams to let me know how best I can help them. Same for Alison, same for Scott. They always want to know. And because, you know, with the responsibilities of our bosses, they have too many things to do. So again, don't make them guess what you need. Tell them. And to me, that could be the key things for making your work and life more balanced in your own definition. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mai. All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, for next questions, and before we continue with the next question, I also like to read the comments from one of our guests here. It is pretty long note, but I just summarize. It's about call for duty, call for man's duty. Actually, this guest would like to listen more from men, especially the men who were present here. And the question for the man is that, very simple, what do you do to create more room for women's professional development? And that is the question for men. All of the men who are here, like, yeah, Scott or me, or including all other guests here who are male. So is anyone, any man, any gentleman here willing to answer this question? Not the speakers, but for you. Please, you please. Introduce about yourself first. Huh? The women need support from the other half of the world, so now it's time for the men to raise their voice. Yeah. So what you do to create more room for women's professional development? You can, yeah, tell us 1 or 2 actions. Yeah. Focus on action.
Okay. My name is Khalil Bader. I'm from Kuwait Petroleum, and of course, one of the things that we do is encourage women to go out, to network, and to learn from each other. When I heard Allison, I'm a friend of Allison, and when Allison told me there's a panel for women discussion, first thing I thought of was our HR director. And I invited her, and I told her, like, Chiha, we have to go to this event. I want you to go. And that's why I'm here today. I'm supporting our HR manager and coming out here, network with others, learn from others, and learn how to empower herself as a woman to tickle it down to the employees that we have and hopefully bring out the female in our company. Thank you.
Oh, great, great, thank you. You know, that's why there are more women today than men. You have chosen the right husbands, okay? They have encouraged you to come to this event. Is that right, Ms. Mai? All right, but I wonder, what if we have made the wrong choice of husband? Maybe Ms. Mai want to answer this question. This question from me. What if women have chosen the wrong husband?
All right. Actually, maybe I might not the best person to answer that question because I made the right choice. Okay, and my husband is marvelous. But I think, you know, it's just my opinions that it's all up to us on how to communicate with him. Because, you know, right choice or wrong choice, I mean, two people get together for a reason, right? And love is always the first reason that brings two people together. And when you are loving someone, you always want the person to be happy. So open discussion, continuous discussion, and that is also from my personal experience that I keep on practicing communicating with my husband from day one until now. And even, you know, when I enter the midlife crisis age, you know, and I read a lot of books, and I heard that, you know, when a lady enter into that age, there would be certain crises in work and in life as well. You know, sometimes we reconsider the values that we have been following, you know, so far. We reconsider whether that husband is the right one or not. Female became weaker, more romantic. Sometimes, you know, emotionally we got, you know, kind of unstable quite easily. And because I read on that, so when I turned to the age of 40, I brought my husband to a restaurant and had open discussion with him, you know, that I am about to be in the crisis, the age of crisis. So I need you to support me. You know, because I know that the chance that I would get wrong, you know, in both, you know, the business decision or my personal life decision, could be quite high. The chance could be high. So I need you to be by my side. Become more romantic. You know, just don't laugh at all of the nonsense that the lovers are, you know, sharing with each other. Please text me every day. And that is the order for me. Okay, he has to text me every day with the saying like, "You are beautiful today," or "I'm missing you, it's raining, I'm missing you," and so on and so forth. He was uncomfortable at the beginning, but because he knows that I need that support, okay? So he tried to do bit by bit, and it became a habit until now. And it helped me through that kind of risky period. And I think that, you know, for all of the ladies, the communication with your partners, with your family members, and with your colleagues at work It's always very important. And that is the lesson that I learned by myself.
That's a great lesson. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any other suggestion, please?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bening. Thank you for Ms. Phương Mai to enjoy me for this seminar, and thank you Hương for the key accounting for my previous employee in Piaggio, Vietnam, and also the Vingroup. I say thank you for sharing me 2 minutes only to share about my story in Vingroup. Everybody is after the question is how to make the work and life balance. For me, I think that I have another idea for the work-life balance. It's two aspects. The first one, what is work-life balance? I think that work-life balance have to adjust at each period of your life. Sometimes you have to save yourself and be yourself, and sometimes save for the family. For me, the first for work, I always play with the job. I never say that I do the job. I play it with the passion of HR. So I think that I make work-life balance in job. For the family, I think, for some time you have to be yourself, and you ask for ethics. I think that you have your peaceful and ethics from your husband and your children, to say that okay, at this time I need the time for myself, to be myself and to growing up in the South society. So sometimes people saying that women always stay at home, staying with children, playing with them and feeding them. I think that for some time it's not true. Please be a mirror to make a respect for them and to be the proud picture for your children and your husband. I think that is one way to make them happy and proud of you. So work-life will be balanced. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we'd love to hear. Yeah, so happy to hear.
It's my story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I have 8 months in Vingroup. People say that very rumor about Vingroup, but for me, it's very nice time with Mr. Vượng and all the people in Vingroup, because I have shared my time that I be myself in Vingroup, or something that, how can I say, I want to have different time to make work-life balance. Thank you.
Okay, great. Great to know that. Any other questions and comments? I think I'd like to invite Miss Hương Chen from Office. Where are you? I'd like to hear from Miss Hương Chen. I think she has stories to tell us. Please.
Okay. Probably I will spend 5 minutes to tell about my story. I'm Huong, Trần Thanh Huong, the country director of Orbit International in Vietnam. I was client of Navigos 8 years ago. I was hired by them, and now they're very proud of me because I've become a star of the organization globally. So just need 1 minute to talk to you a little bit more about Orbit International organization. We are a non-government organization. We are leading organization in the world to help the developing country to fight for the blindness. You never believe that in the world around 30 million people blind, but 60% of them don't need to be blind. It's just because of the developing country, they don't have well-trained doctor, equipment, and some knowledge as well. So we have the country like that in Vietnam and other 50 countries around the world. So in 2011, I was hired by Navigos. And at that time, the organization in very, very bad barriers. The reputation is bad. Office about to close in Vietnam. So my boss in New York, they would like to find the final attempt to save the organization in Vietnam, and they work with Navigos to find the talent. And I think that before me, they already tried for several months and not very success. So they had me finally, and they do OPQ test. I don't know that any one of you have learned about occupation personal test, something like that. I learned that is CIA software to identify who are you and how you good at, what you are good at. And they found out that, oh yes, I have some influence, very good influence capacity and strategic vision. This will be a dream person for transformation leadership. So they say, oh yeah, try with her. We had nothing to lose. So we tried with a woman after many failure in the hiring man. So, but at that time, I have a very good job in United Nations, and I don't think that I will move. I think a lot about that. I say, let me think, and I take quite a long time to think about that. Then my boss told me that if you continue like that, you're always number two. If you have vision and you have patience, you want to change the world, then take that. We will make it happen. And then I say, oh yeah, I got it. I take it. So my first lesson to share to you is, as women, we normally want to live in very comfortable zone. We don't want to move out. I think a lot about challenge. We always think about that a lot. And but I did it, and I'm happy that I did it. But of course, I can say that that's the first big barrier for all Vietnamese women, that we always want to sit in very comfortable zone. And of course, the day and day after that is very, very hard day for me, with a big job of learn understanding about the business, about this, what's the problem of organization, what are the competitors, how we can make us become better. And then we have very good ambition as well, the strategic plan. We involve on important sector, Ministry of Health and other key players. And because we have very good strategy, then we become now very successful. Second thing is about how to have a good team to work with us and to make through this kind of transition period to become a very good performance team. And I believe that women do a very good job on that. I have to clean my stuff, also have to bring a new talent in and retain and develop own potential. That is very, very difficult job. But I believe that women do a very good job on that. Because in that period, in some other country, in the same time with us, because we have a kind of like change globally, but in Vietnam we do a very good job on that because the women always know how to work with people better. Well, it's I believe. So I make it very smooth transformation barriers of having the new team in place and developing, motivating them to become very, very high performing team today. I'm very proud of that because my boss tell Navigos that they have very good leader in Vietnam who do that job. Just find a point about what's the difficult for women during that period of implementing the leadership role, assuming leadership role. As a leader, you have to lead by example. You have to, so people can follow you. And women always get problem with that because, first of all, the physical issue, the health issue, we don't strong as man. And in my job, I have to travel more than 60% of my time. That's very, very big, very tough for me. And always challenged because I'm feeling tired all the time. But men don't have. The second is about perception for the woman in that leadership role in Vietnam. Still a big problem. When I work with other, business partner, I don't think that they respect women right away. But then you have to try very hard to convince them, to tell them how smart you are, even more than them, so that they can listen to you. So that is a challenge for the woman in Asia in general, but also in Vietnam. I'm very difficult to attract men to work for me.
Thank you, Ms. Hương. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need to spare time for more questions and more stories.
So maybe
so to sum up,
few more points for
just
wrap up.
The last point.
The last one is again, as I say, that the culture problem in Vietnam, the woman must to be humble, Confucian culture, and that is very difficult for women in that leadership role. And family obligation always is a big challenge. And I have to say that I'm not very successful on that because probably I don't have right partner. But also it's very tough for women in leadership role to have family, maintain family obligation properly. So again, my final message is for leader, for women in leadership role, be brave. Be yourself and be brave. We have nothing to lose, and come out from our comfortable zone is my key message.
Great, thank you so much. We are so glad if next time we can invite Ms. Hương Trân as our key speaker. But I'm sorry, we don't have much time for today, so please continue with the other questions, and we need to want to listen from you more. Yeah, please introduce about yourself.
Here is questions. My name is Milan. I'm from E Group. I have two questions. The first one is regarding glass ceiling. Glass ceiling. Phương Mai, Alisa, and Hương, you all talk about you have a dream, you have a passion, follow it. And I like the quote that Phương mentioned, that leap and the net will appear. So the question is, as an organization, how we can help women to dare to follow their dream, to be ambitious. There is a lot of conference, seminar, we talk about how to increase the number of female women leaders in the top level in the organization. But the question is whether the reason is because of, the organization don't have the policy, or whether the board don't want to give the opportunity to women. We see that actually it is women to limit ourselves. Women, we think that, as Hương said, we want to live in a comfort zone. We think that we don't have as good physical health as men. We have the family commitment, and in the outside world, people believe that men don't like so clever women. If they look for wife, they don't want to get married with too clever and too successful women. So women don't want to be successful. So the glass ceiling is we ourselves we limit ourselves. So my question is, before waiting for women to help them to overcome their own limiting belief, how your organization, have the initiative to help women? Because in many organizations, we have a lot of women at the middle level, middle management level, but at the top level, we have less and less women. So how your organization help women to do that? And the second question is, we talk about the work-life balance. Not every woman have a wonderful husband like as mine. And you share the story how to treat yourself, take care of yourself. Don't forget about yourself. But as an organization, do we have any initiative to help women to have work-life balance? For example, I heard, like in Google, they have kindergarten for women workers. What kind of initiative or activity at your organization you have for helping women to have work-life balance? Thank you.
Thank you. Great questions. And Ms. Mai, you willing to answer the questions? What about Alison?
All right, probably
It's
I
my
will
first.
kick off first, right? And then Alison can add on because she has great experience in balancing her management team with both genders. So actually, you know, if taking from the standpoint of the organizations, what we are facing right now is that majority of the organizations in Vietnam has not been doing the kind of putting together the plan to enable women to grow up in their leadership roles consciously. I mean, because unconsciously there are organizations, there are companies already doing quite well in terms of nurturing the women leaderships and supporting the women in their work, in their current role, and carving the path for them to grow up. I want to take an example in my company, for example. I have to be very honest, we don't have any policies or plan or strategy on gender diversity in Navigos Group Vietnam. No, we don't have the formal policy. But what we naturally do is that we are listening to the employees, understand their issues, and especially for the women, you know, who are having the family, then we always, you know, we are always giving the flexible working condition for our employees to actually complete or complete the duties at home, and also, you know, contribute to the companies, because we are measuring our people by the outcomes. The beauty of the professional service industry in Navigos, for example, is that we don't have to clock in, clock out. You know, we do not have to make people to come into the companies at a certain time fixed, and then exactly what time that they can leave. We can actually create certain flexibilities for the members who are in need, and putting the trust on people, you know, that we value the reason that they are giving us, you know, the reason why they need that flexibilities. And we enhance the culture of making ownership of your work. So by doing so, then we are also enable the female employees in our organizations to actually plan themselves on how they can complete their work, and also how they can look after their family properly. So I think that in terms of, you know, organizational planning, then that could be the things that we have been doing. And I've seen that a lot of other companies are also taking care of that, although they do not put in place the serious gender diversity strategy. There would need to be more formal approach to support female employees to grow up. And I believe that there are still a lot of things that even Navigos Group Vietnam, we still need to think about and do more. Yeah, so I think that could be my the answer for your first question. So yeah, Alison, you want to add in something?
Thanks very much, Mai. So as I mentioned in my presentation, so in Gentom, we do not have any kind of policy, we do not have any kind of targets for gender diversity. But what we have is to create an environment that supports women to grow. So in most cases, women maybe do not realize that they actually do have the capability to develop to leaders. So what we do is create that kind of opportunity, okay, within the work for people to realize about their ability and to build the self-confidence, okay? On the other hand, we as a management team are always on the lookout, okay, for potentials. And we are the ones that, okay, so when we identify such kind of talent, it's also management's responsibility to carve the path, to recommend trainings, to recommend activities, to also coach these people on how they can keep on building their self-confidence and also building the capabilities to become future leaders. So for me, it's really more about the environment and about the culture that is built in the organization rather than by policy or targets.
And for the next question, the second question, Ms. Mai will add more.
Well, so for your next question, chị Milan, I would like to share on this, you know, in terms of company support to make sure that women can realize their strengths, know their potential, and grow up, and also have the facilities to support the life duties, right? So, to be honest, this has to be depending on how, you know, what kind of space that your company has in order to organize such kind of kindergarten or playing ground for kids to just come there and then mom can work, you know, while kids are enjoying. Now, in the limitation of working space in our office building, for example, we are trying to do the things that we have the champions in engagement activities. One of the team managers, Miss Van Lê here. And then we try to create the events, you know, the activities, outdoor activities for the children of our staffs, you know. And the children, the future Navigos search could be gathered together and play, enjoy the children's events. And then also, you know, in my office in Ho Chi Minh City, for example, very lucky that I have a separate space. I put there the toys, you know. Sometimes some of our staff members, because of the work, then they cannot stay at home and have to go come into the companies to access into the CRM system, because we cannot access from home. So they bring the kids to the office, and the kids can play, you know, with all the crayons and the toys at the corner, and then mom is working. Well, I'm not purposely do that in order to force my female employees to come to work, you know, when they have to look after the kids. But, you know, at least creating the facilities, or at least to creating the environment that allowing them to actually have the flexibilities of taking care of their families when they are still at work, would be also another efforts that the companies can do within our so-called budget or whatever facilities that we have. And one thing very important, as I just discussed with chị Milan during the break time, that you know, in order to support women at work, probably it is time now for us, the elder generation, you know, myself, chị Milan, and some other ladies here, we may think about forming a group of mentors or coaches, you know, to support the members, the female members in the companies, to guide them or prompting the questions in the mentorship way, so that they can think about, you know, their potentials, think about the barriers that they think existing in their lives now, and how to overcome those barriers. And that kind of support, I think that can be very useful for the females employees in any companies. Yeah, so that would be my opinions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I think that might have with the question and might have with your companies, maybe you can implement in your companies, your organizations. And coming up next with other questions, please, please. From table 9, please. Please introduce about yourself.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, it's lunchtime now, but sorry for I think it's a very short question. Firstly, thank you so much for Navigos to organize this event, and I have many times to attend the event like this, and every time after come back, I also have some new ideas for the action for the company. Thank you so much. And my question for Alison is that firstly, I would like to introduce, my name is Ha. I'm coming from Idemitsu Petroleum, Idemitsu QA Petroleum Company. My company is the first foreign company in Vietnam to have business in fields of retail petroleum. Then we just have 2 years establishment, that's very young. And I just saw some image from Ellison company. It shows very happy faces from your staff, employees. And we just actually now, I'm thinking about the company culture. So of course, we have to build it. If we don't want to build it, maybe they build it themselves. So can you share me your experience, how you built your company culture? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So when building a company culture, so it is not something that, you know, it's just something that we write, okay, but it is actually something that we believe in. Okay, so first of all, I mean, obviously I bring with me the culture from Genterm, okay, globally. Okay, I bring with me the values of this company, which happen to also match with my values. And so, you know, we started here the company from scratch. So when we set up the core team, okay, this is something I personally, okay, together with my team, so we talked together, as I said. First we wanted to see what do we want our workplace to be? What do we want to achieve? So this is the question we put to ourselves. And when we came with the answers, okay, then we followed. This is also, we not only designed a factory to be able to help us with this culture, but then we also looked for team members who fit in this kind of culture, who share our values, okay? And it's always leading by example. So it is very important that and it's a belief that comes from within. It is not something that we just, you know, write on a piece of paper, but it's something that we truly believe and that we live it. We actually show it. So if we say that we are respecting people, you know, this is seen through our actions. If we say that we want to give a work-life balance, we actually do actions, you know. As I said, we look for ways to reducing waste. Okay, we actually mean it. If we also say we want to make the workplace fun, it's not just something that we write or we say every day, but we really work on creating activities to make the workplace fun. And same it is for if we say we want to develop our people. We actually live the things we believe in. So for me, this is actually a way, and we keep on doing this every single day, okay? And I really think that the most important thing comes when we are hiring people. So this is why I also say it's not about skills. Skills can be taught. But what is most important is that we are hiring people who match our values. People who have the right attitude as we do, and people who can fit in our culture and continue to grow it and spread it within the organization.
Thank you so much. It's a great answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to add to that. At LinkedIn, we're a company of 11,000 people now, but our CEO talks about our culture and values, about they are our biggest competitive advantage. And it sounds quite cliche, but it's really, really true. And being a cynical British person, like when I first came to the company, I much like Alison talked about, thought that our culture and values were what was written up on the wall and mostly forgotten about. But really within our organization, we live and breathe it on a daily basis. But it's difficult to do. It's difficult to internalize. One way that we do that is that every year we choose one of our core culture and values and have that as a mainstay for the year and develop different initiatives around it. Taking, for example, we talk about transformation of ourselves, of the company, and the world around. And so for the past year, we've been embodying that throughout the company, encouraging all of our employees to take on leaps of transformation for themselves, the company, and the world. And we're moving into our new financial year, and demand excellence will be the new theme. So we'll continue to have initiatives that are based around that, and it really helps everyone sort of internalize and understand what it means to them every year. So that's one way that we embody it.
Great, thank you so much. And yeah, culture of the company, that's the key word for all of us to think about. And when we want to implement the BIG strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, next question, please. Please raise your hand. Hi, please. Table 2, table number 2. Just wait for a second. Yeah, we're bringing the micro.
My name is Hương. I'm come from Open Asia Group, and I have one question for Mr. Ellison. Yeah. In your presentation, I very interested in one message is factory designer to break tradition silo. Can you say some experience about this? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So sometimes we look at organizations, okay, and they are very focused to be departmental. Okay, so everybody just looks, every department looks at its own goals, as its own activities. But actually we are meant to be one company, all working in the same direction for the same goal. And in most cases, we are working in processes. So processes need the interaction actually of all departments to make one thing happen. And this is why, for us, when we design the factory, we say we break all walls, because sometimes most of the biggest hindrance is actually our own structure, okay? So we break all walls. We say we have complete open office space. And we have teams of people. So if you are in a production, for example, you have all the support team working together, sitting near each other. So whenever a problem happens, they can discuss together immediately and not keep on looking around, finding the different team members. No, they are there, they can respond fast to any issues, okay? So this is why we can have very quick problem solving, and we try to eliminate this thinking that it's my department and your department. No, we are one company.
I just want to share with you one example. Actually, breaking the barriers between the departments and business units requires a lot of efforts from everyone involved. So when, I just want to share with you the story from Navigos, from Navigos Group Vietnam, for example. A few years ago, maybe many of the clients got confused, that Vietnam Works and Navigos Search, whether that is two companies or not, because we used to operate in silo. Yeah, and then also, we used to argue a lot with HR team, with finance team, with IT team, because, each and every department just protect, our own workload, and always having the kind of excuses, and it results in a lot of arguments between the departments. And when we actually try to remove that kind of barriers, we put up the slogans, One Navigos, right? And then in the company trip last year, we also put the slogans, One Navigos, One Dream. And we really have to, all of the department heads have to work together and commit ourselves to take action, to really collaborate with each other. And whenever we have problems with any departments, then we really have to sit down, make our own efforts to try to sit down and discuss in a constructive way. And we keep on constantly remind ourselves to do that. And only when the leaders are doing that, then the people in the departments and in the different business units, they are actually synchronized with each other. And if in any organizations you already have that kind of problems with, silo operation in different departments, then it is time actually to break the walls. And it requires a lot of efforts, but it's worth trying, because we have seen great results out of that kind of anti-silo concept. Yeah, so try if you want, and it's worth. Yeah, thank you.
Any great examples. Thank you so much. And any other questions or comments, please? Table 2, the same table. Yes.
Hi everybody. My name is Hiền. I'm from Trieu, Vietnam. We have a plant nearby Doan in Hanoi Province, and I'm quite impressive about your role in Doan as it's in the STEM industry. As in your presentation, we can see that the percentage of the women in the STEM industry is very low. This is the same situation in the Trieu, Vietnam. When I try to push the profile of the women in the role of the manager or middle level in Trieu, we meet the barrier from the mindset of the Vietnamese manager, especially Vietnamese male manager. I don't know if you have the same situation, but I want to ask that, do you have any idea or any thing to train the mindset of them to give the opportunity to women more and more? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, so when I came here to set up the company, okay, I came here and I chose my core team. So as I said, I chose people who share also my same ideas. But it's also, I believe, so when the male managers in our company see, okay, that how we are giving the parts and encouraging women within the departments. Okay, so I think it's something that you start, you do it, you listen to it every day. That's something that also becomes more or less your way of life. And actually, this is my message. I don't think there is any secret recipe. Actually, it's just really that you have people in the top who believe that this is possible. And yeah, you preach about it every day. And you also show it by example. So if I look in, for example, I don't know, if I look in one of, let's say, the production department, and if I came across some people who I believe, oh, they have some potential, I would talk to the boss and say, keep a close attention to that person. I really see that person has potential in the company. Maybe we can give some further training and they can develop further. So it's also this hinting from my side. And then I think that people become more and more aware and they also start to practice it.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think this isn't something that can be driven by HR, or it has to come from the C-suite. It has to come from the CEO, the senior executives. It has to be one of their #1 key priorities. As we saw on that I think it was only 13% of companies had an actual initiatives in place to be able to increase women in leadership. And if they're going to have that in place, it needs to be a directive from the top.
Very important that you need to send the materials of today's event to your CEO. All right, and just one thing that I just want to remind us ourselves, ladies here in this room, that no matter how hard we change, no matter what kind of policies and strategies that the companies would put in place to support the women, we need to be very realistic in understanding that the unconscious bias still exists. Somehow, somewhere, it's okay, because if it exists already, what we can do is that we would try our best to prove ourselves, to make sure that people gradually see our values. But, even in my own experience, or probably with Alison as well, we still have to work twice as hard compared to men. And it's okay, don't think about that as a tragedy or so. It's just a matter of fact, it's just life. And if we happily accept that, and we are happy to actually try our best to prove ourselves, well, miracle will happen. And you know the law of attraction, right? we try the best for the best results, the best result will come. And I always love the saying that start with the end in mind. Like Alison, you know, she started building the factory with the end, the final image of her factory in her mind. Then she would know how to work the way through it. Likewise, for us, just think about who we want to be. Picture ourselves in a few years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time. Well, I now even have the picture of myself in the retirement. And just work with that. You know, probably the companies will provide you support. Probably your husband, your families will provide you support. But if they don't, you still have your own way, right? Just because even, you know, during the process of trying to do good things for your organizations is already the rewarding feeling for the women in terms of achievement. Yeah, so sometimes power would not come together with title, but power would come together with the influence that you can create to your organization, to your peers, to your boss even, right? And to me, that is the power of women.
Wow. Yeah, it's not a new definition, but yeah, it's really persuasive, yeah. Throughout the past 1,000 years of history in not only Vietnam, but many countries in the world, I have seen so many stories like that. Yeah, behind the kings are the very powerful women. All right, any other question? We still have time for, I think, maybe one more question. The last question, or comments, if you have. Please. Maybe from the men. Yeah, I think that will be great. Yeah, we have heard so little about from men. Please.
Hi again. So our organization is 2 years old, and we're expanding our base. We're hiring more and more employees. Something I've noticed in the Vietnamese market is when I look for a technical person, all of the resumes that I get is a males. When I look for a sales executive, all the resumes that I get are men. Question is for the panel, what can I do as an organization to attract technical or sales executive that are female? Because I am not getting the resumes that I need in order for me to make a decision. Thank you.
Can I answer this question? Okay, from the recruitment standpoint. Okay, so there are a few things that we can do. Number one things, okay, if you are hiring the key positions, please tell your expectation to my team, okay? Let them understand, because you know, the recruiters, the consultants from Navigos Search, they are the extended arms for your talent acquisition team. So if they know your desire to diversify the pool of candidates that's submitting to you, then okay, they would take that message to go out to the market and spread out the news, right? So that would be one thing for the key positions. Now, how about the lower positions? Actually, that process is require a lot more efforts. And actually, even Navigos Search, we are also trying to educate the market, the younger talent market, with that concept. We already have the partnership with one vocational school, vocational college in Hanoi, to give more educational talks, you know, career talks, to advise the students and attract the new students to the school. For the, you know, for more females for tax, for STEM, and then also more males for the other professional services based skills majors. So we try to diversify the students, the genders in the students base itself now. It would take some time, of course, but if you are interested in participating in that process, please talk to us offline. And we would love to invite your companies to go with us with the journey to enrich the talent pools in Vietnam And that would definitely benefit to your company as well. You know, giving the career talks at the universities, the colleges, vocational schools, speak out on medias, and only by doing so, then we can somehow have the impact on the mindset of the students, of the parents as well, because in Vietnam, don't forget that the students are choosing their subject also based on the parents' wishes. So we would need to do together in order to improve that situation. Right now, there would not be direct answer to you for this year for the kind of staff level gender diversity. But for the more senior positions, well, we are happy to support you with that as well. Thank you so much.